Thanks for joining us for another episode of Mid-American Gardener. I'm your host, Tinisha Spain, and joining me in the studio today are two of my pals here to talk about all things green and growing. We've got lots of show and tells, lots of things to cover. So let's have them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about them before we get started. So John, we'll start with you.
I am John Bodensteiner. I'm a Vermilion County Master Gardener. I've been doing this for a while. I'm one of the older, I think, participants in the show, and enjoy this season. There you go. And I like I say, I like pretty much everything. I'm trying some new things. You'll find out today. Trying some new things, and go from there.
That's the beauty of gardening. There's always something new to get into.
New.
All right, Jim.
I'm Jim Appleby, a retired entomologist from the Illinois Natural History Survey here on the campus of the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. So I deal with the insects and mites attacking trees, shrubs, and flowers.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's jump in and get started. John, I don't know which one you want to talk about first.
I'm going to do the real quick one.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Some people have asked about these, so I thought I'd bring. I've got two different colors here. I actually have three, but these are perennial hibiscus, and they are showstoppers. These are, well, I say dinner plate size, and the coloring on them is fantastic. The other one I have is more like this. It's kind of a combination of the two, and got a little bit more red in it than the pink, and a little bit longer veins, but they are just, to me, just showstoppers.
They are gorgeous.
And they bloom. You can see them from a long ways, especially the lighter ones. The real red ones sometimes will fade into, because it's a darker leafed. You can find different colored leaves on them. And the one thing that people ask me most about is my hibiscus didn't come up this spring. Well, they're asking me in April and May. Well, yeah, mine don't come up until first part of June, and so you've got to be patient. I know that's one of our things, to be patient as gardeners, and it's one of those that and I've had the bees and the butterflies like the little flower on the inside.
Once you plant that, how long does it take for them to get established and do as well as yours are? Are you going to be waiting a couple seasons?
I bought established roots, and they bloomed the first year.
Really? Okay.
They've gotten bigger and spread out a little bit. They stooled out, and so now the trees are, I'd say, 4 to 5 feet high and 4 to 5 feet wide. And so they're disease resistant, deer resistant. I've never had deer eat them, and they've eaten everything else in my yard, just about.
Boy, that's
maintenance-wise, do you have to do a lot of pruning or deadheading or shaping?
I leave them go during the winter. I don't trim them back at all because they have kind of a spongy inside of the stem, and I figure if I leave them, there might be an insect that burrows in there and overwinters, especially if it's beneficial. So I wait till spring. I trim them back to the ground. I take my loppers and trim them to the ground, and then just wait.
Okay.
And I mulch them good, and there's really no maintenance to them at all.
We love that.
So.
And I mean, they don't even look real. They're absolutely gorgeous.
But these, I just thought I'd bring.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful.
I was surprised that and you can take these in and put them in a low saucer in the middle of the plate, in the middle of the table, and
just enjoy them.
Just enjoy one flower will make a bouquet.
Yes, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, those are gorgeous. Yeah, Jim, you were smitten by those when you walked in.
Well, I was, and they're deer resistant. I mean, that's
I've never had them eat the leaves or the flowers
that's a big
or
plus.
anything.
That's a big plus. We were just talking before the show that both of their yards have been raided by local wildlife, so that might be something that you want to look into. Okay.
Yeah, the groundhogs didn't bother him either, so I haven't had nothing bother him.
Hey.
Wow.
Sounds like something you might want to invest in.
I'm going to get some.
Yes. All right, so now we're going to talk damage, Jim, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what specimen do you have here?
What we have here is privet, and this was the compliments of my good neighbor who has privet. I don't have any privet, but there's one insect here in the Midwest that gets on privet. They overwinter in the egg stage under a leaf, a little leaf bud. And then when these eggs hatch, and they hatch just as the new growth starts on privet, and then the nymphs, the immatures, will feed inside the leaflet, and it will cause this kind of injury that you have here, is this curling of the leaves. Now, do you need to control it? Well, not sure. It's sort of aesthetic. Do you really want to see that injury or not? Sometimes I've seen some plants that were badly injured by it. Curled leaves. They don't, they stay green, so it's not a big deal if you don't do anything. But it's very common on American privet here in the Midwest.
Okay.
So if we go to the slides, I'd like to show you some slides.
Sure.
So here we see some leaf damage by the boxwood psyllid. And if we go to the next one, here's in the wintertime, they overwinter under the bud scale. So in the wintertime, if you pull back that brown area, you'd find a little orangey egg in that. And that's how they overwinter. And so as soon as the new growth starts in the spring, the nymphs hatch, and then they will crawl into the bud. And here we see the close-up of the nymphs itself in the leaflet. And so that's what causes the curling. The feeding of the nymphs will cause the leaflet to curl. And then they, in that state for about 3 weeks, and then they emerge as an adult. The adult is sort of a greenish insect, only about 1/8 of an inch in length. And they don't cause any injury, it's the nymphs, but these will generally emerge as an adult towards the latter part of April. And then they mate and they deposit their egg, and there's only one generation a year. So if we look at the control, for the control, you want to shear off new spring growth, certainly by mid-April, because by then the nymphs are in the buds. The earlier the better. If you can do it as soon as you're seeing some new growth, that's when you want to shear it, so that will remove a lot of the nymphs. You won't get complete control, but you'll get a good many of them. And then if you want to go with control, I would suggest spraying with horticultural oil spray. Be sure it's a horticultural oil spray. And you want to do that, again, just as you see new growth starting on that. So then there won't be any injury at all.
Now, 2 questions. When you say new growth, are we talking about as we're shaping up our boxwood? Is that what you're talking about? Giving it that uniform look, that kind of, shearing it on the top, or what is that new growth that we're looking for?
Well, new growth in the spring will sprout out, and so you can do both, this top as well as the sides.
Okay.
And you won't eliminate completely, but it will, the plant will produce new growth, which will not be injured.
Gotcha. And then my second question was, do we need to do anything special with the trimmings and the parts that we cut off if there's an infection or infestation?
No, because the nymphs can't fly, and so you control them.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you very much. We're going to come back to you because you brought some other things in. John, we are back to you with your new hobby.
Yeah. Well, Phil Nixon kind of got me into this. Bonsaiing. I've been dabbling in it for a couple of years, and I had a evergreen that I had worked on and was beautiful. I lost it. Unfortunately, it didn't get watered for a while, and so that's one thing. Bonsais do take some dedication and some constant care. I saw somebody at the Champagne Garden Walk. There was one of the vendors there had some elephant bush. This is an elephant bush. This is what I've been just playing with here recently, and it seems to work pretty nicely. I've had some success with it. So, but I just thought I'd bring it. I did a few things, like this little teacup. It's a little oriental teacup. It's got some scenes on it, and what I did is drainage is very important. I went to the Habitat and bought some of these things that really aren't bonsai containers, but they reminded me of bonsai containers. But the one thing is they don't have any drainage holes. So I did go on the internet, and I did find these ceramic drill bits, and depending on the size, I think I've got a couple smaller than this, and this is the biggest one. But on a regular drill, you just go down there and you take your time, put a little pressure, and they will slowly put drill a hole into the glass or this type of ceramic container. So you can use just about anything. And I thought, I saw that and I said, I think I'd like to try to make a bonsai. So what I did, I put 3 holes in that one. I've got the wire that is looped underneath, and then comes up, and then I've wired the branch, and that's another thing that you'll need is some wiring if you're going to get into it. And it comes in varying colors. This is a copper, there's a green, there's black, and it's special bonsai wire, and it's very easy to bend. It's very flexible, and so you can go around these branches, and then it still has to be somewhat sturdy in that it has to hold the shape of that you want to shape it into.
So how old plant is this right here? How old is this right here?
This one?
Yeah.
Well, I cut it off of here, and so I've only had that in for about, I'd say, maybe 50 days, 60 days,
Oh,
2
really?
months.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your planting medium. If someone saw this and was interested.
You want a lot of grit or sand
Okay.
in it, and you don't want to have real rich soil. I've got a little bit of peat moss in it, a little bit of topsoil, but mostly grit, sand. And then I've topped it with oak shavings. My neighbor does some woodworking, so you can put pea gravel on them too, so that they kind of finishes it off. But I like the looks of the
It's beautiful.
It
Absolutely
is.
beautiful. Yeah.
and it's really easy. You buy these are pretty available at any of your stores, and all you have to do is just take one of these branches, and I'll take this one here. It's kind of, and you cut it off. Now I'll let this, what they call callus off, for a couple of days. And then after it calluses off, I'll get some rooting compound and stick it into some soil and let it get started. If I want to get it started in here, I'll wire it right away, and then I'll just start with my wire and just start going around.
And that's just to provide the stability and keep it growing in the direction that you want it to.
And that's all it does is
Gotcha.
is that you're gonna it's to shape the thing. So now if I wanted to take this and bend it a little bit more, and it's going to hold it there.
Jim, I think we just found our winter hobby.
Yeah,
So
I
and,
think
and
so.
that's another
beautiful.
thing. Even winter or right now when it's too hot to
Yeah.
be outside, you can bring this in and sit around, because they do take some maintenance.
And they're so expensive when you try to buy something.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they are. Even the
really
tiny
expensive.
ones are very
John,
expensive.
you could be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And you got these little tools, these little snippers that you could go in and snip the leaves.
This seems so fun and just a nice,
Yeah.
easygoing project to be
Yeah.
able to do.
Yeah, you want to make sure that, and then you have to have some good lighting. I have these out underneath my porch outside so that they're getting good air, good quality. And then I water them, probably depending on the soil, and I'll test it and just feel it. And
I love that you were just able to go out and just thrift some really cool pieces and pots and things to plant them
I
in.
think
It's so
I got
pretty.
10 of these for $10. So
Heck yes.
So 10 pots for $10, and I drilled my own holes. Yes, they're not true, but they work.
Very nice.
And the wire varies. So depending on down here, I'm going to use a heavier gauge. Up here, I used a lighter gauge, which is the green or the you can order a kit, and it comes with
Everything you need.
all the different sizes of wire, and it also had the little snips in there, and so you get a.
Very nice.
It's not
We'll
that
have to get
expensive.
Phil on the line and do just like a bonsai episode.
There is a local bonsai group that Phil belongs to. I think it's Champaign County or Vermilion. Central Illinois
The Bonsai Society.
and you can find them on the internet or talk to Phil next time you see him.
Yes.
But he got me interested in it, so I thought anybody can, I have nothing invested in this other than maybe $2 if I don't.
And look what you could sell it for.
Yeah, if I fail, I can start over.
You're going to be rolling in money anytime.
All right, let's do a couple of questions. John, you had your eye on a couple. Let's talk about the peaches one. This is Leland Warzala writes, when I pick peaches off of my 2 trees, 90% of them have a single pinhead-sized hole. I haven't noticed any grubs or insects. I have sprayed them with insecticidal soap with no success. Maybe what was in there already emerged and has left. Wonder if it could be hummingbirds or other birds getting some of the pulp or juice. Any thoughts?
I don't think it's a hummingbird. It could be one of 2 things. It could be a brown marmorated stink bug. They like soft fruits, but it could have been something that was inside. It may have been there all the time and worked its way out. And
Okay.
It'd be interesting to make a slice of where that hole is to see, see if something actually.
Yeah, how deep it really went.
Right.
But there are bags. I forgot to bring one, but there's these little zip type bags that you can for fruits that you can put around your fruits early spring so that it'll protect the fruit. And I've done it, and they have different colored ones or some that are opaque. I like the ones that have a little mesh, tiny mesh, because the sunlight still gets in there.
Yes.
And then you don't end up with bleached fruit or so.
Okay, all right. Jimmy brought in another specimen for us.
Well, this
one of your faves.
This is one of my favorite bushes, and this is buttonbush. It's native to the Midwest, and it starts blooming here in the central Illinois in about the 1st of July, and it's got these beautiful blooms. And the nice thing about buttonbush, the leaves are resistant to Japanese beetle, which is a real plus.
Yeah.
And that's, the leaves are nice and dark green and glossy, and it's got these beautiful blooms. And the butterflies just absolutely love these blooms. So it's really a nice bush, and it's now available commercially, so you can purchase these commercially. I would encourage everyone to. Now, they do require a little bit moisture. They do well in native areas along the edges of ponds.
Okay.
So I have 2 bushes, and I generally, when I'm outside and near a spigot, I throw some water underneath the plants. So.
Tell us about the growing behavior. What size is it?
Well, they can actually grow up to about 10, 12 feet, but they take pruning very easily. So you can prune them how you want them. But they're really a nice plant.
That is pretty. And that would be a nice pop of just the visual, in the landscape is pretty.
Yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous
Yeah,
plant.
it's just a whole different flower than you would expect.
Right.
Do they come in any other colors or just white?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I think that's the only.
But
it's
anything
a native,
that's a native that attracts butterflies, and I'm sold.
Yep.
Very pretty.
Yeah, we've got some down at the library at Danville. Some of all our native flowers that we've planted, the master gardeners and the master naturalists have planted 300 or 400 native plants around the library. And if you go down into Danville, downtown Danville, to the library, you'll see. And it's the 3rd year, so it takes about 3 years, 4 years for natives to get established. But once they get there, like that, probably you have no diseases, no.
I don't know of anything. Yeah,
it's very low maintenance,
right,
and
it
likes our weather, and so the diseases are. If there is a disease, it copes with it. So that's what's really nice with natives.
Yeah, it's a great plant.
Very nice. Okay, thank you. Let's see, we've got one more question. This one is about a sapling. It's kind of long, so I'll paraphrase. I have a pink lady apple sapling that I started from a sprouted seed as an experiment. I've got it outside and noticed that the leaves keep turning brown and crispy. At first I thought it was just the wind, but now I'm not sure if it's a fungus or what. I have a general fungicide spray, but it has not helped at all. Any advice on what could be wrong here? So we pulled up the picture. And you had some concerns right away about just trying to grow this in general?
Yeah, she said it's a pink lady, and she got it as seed. A pink lady is a hybrid type apple. So I doubt that the seed is going to be the same fruit that she is wanting. It's probably going to revert back to one of the original mother or father plants. And so being that in a pot that size, with our weather, and I see a little, it's on the edges, so that would tell me that it got too dry at one time.
Okay.
Maybe she may have had it inside and brought it out, so it may have got a little sunburned if she didn't harden it off. And the other thing is, if it reverts back to, and apples are terrible for this. She was talking about a fungus, cedar apple rust is just, if there's a cedar tree, a red cedar native tree in the area, it's going to probably get it. Because again, I don't know what kind of an apple this is for sure. And it may end up, she has that AABB type crossing where it may just be a pink lady, but unlikely. And
now, at what point would you take this out of the pot and put it in the ground? Or is it too late for that this year?
I would wait till this fall.
Wait till the fall.
Once I wouldn't do it today or tomorrow with 100 and whatever we're going to have heat index. And, but I would wait till this fall that's when you actually are best to plant your trees.
Okay.
I would make sure that, she clears a spot at least 3 foot around with no grass, because grass is allelopathic. It'll slow that. I think the U of I was actually the one that did some studies. They had like 100 trees, and they varied the width of the clean area where they mulched and they pulled the grass back, and they showed pictures. It was unbelievable from the zero where they just planted it in the ground and let the grass grow right up. Those were probably 2 or 3 feet tall compared to the ones that had a 3 or 4 foot circle with no grass. They were 4 or 5 times the size.
Wow.
Because just the allelopathic nature of grass will prohibit the growth, or won't prohibit, it'll slow the growth down dramatically. Kind of like black walnuts do, the jugalone and those. They have an allelopathic, which means they compete. They don't want the other tree.
They want to be the main character.
Like tomatoes and black walnuts.
Yes.
You may have the tomatoes may be okay, the plants, but the fruit, they probably will not fruit.
Gotcha.
So it's that allelopathic chemical. And so that's one thing I would make sure, and that she waters it in, make sure she waters it until the ground freezes. Rabbits or things like that, she may want to strip the lower leaves off and wrap it so that the rodents
give it a little bit more protection,
because that's going to be very vulnerable to that.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, Jim, you've got one more specimen I don't want to skip over. We've got about 3 minutes.
Well, I was on the program here a couple of weeks ago, and I showed injury here by herbicide. Now, I didn't use any herbicide at all on my property, but look what it's done to my red bud. So this probably is 2,4-D or dicamba. Both chemical herbicides are very volatile. So what you see here is when the red bud early in the spring produce big leaves, new leaves, then these were not, they're affected a little bit, but then as the plant grows, leaf grows out, the branch grows out, then you get these, and so the most ones that are really susceptible to injury are the newly formed leaves. So here you see how distorted they are, and they're really leather-like.
Now, just paint a picture of how far away this tree is from where the field is.
I think probably about a mile.
Yeah,
that is really something.
Long distance.
With the winds we've had this year and the heat.
Yeah.
And then, like that leaf, that first leaf was probably already formed before they sprayed. And then red buds and grapevines leaves are the two. If you want to know if you've had some herbicide drift, look at your red buds or your grape. and you'll know whether
Yeah,
you've had
and
some.
tomatoes susceptible.
And tomatoes too.
That's tough
pepper,
because there's
too.
not a whole lot you can do
Pepper.
about it if
At
you're
this
surrounded
stage-
by an agricultural,
No,
you know, in
that's
an
right.
agricultural
You're
area.
really another
But it's good to
crop.
know.
Yeah,
And to know
yeah.
that it can drift that far
Oh, it
is
can drift a long distance.
Yeah,
okay. We've got
it's gotten, you know, with the weather conditions and the sprays have gotten to be so potent, and
yeah.
and some plants are just so susceptible, like the red button.
Boxwood is also another plant.
Oh, is it?
Oh, boxwood is very
Shows it
sensitive to
immediately?
Yeah, it's a nasty tree, boxwood,
Yeah.
but it is very susceptible to herbicide.
Before we go, we've got about a minute left. A few years ago, it's probably been 5 or 6 years, I think.
Maybe.
You brought ground cherries on the show, and I took a couple ground cherries home. And then from there, I've grown my own now. So I had them established at the place we lived at before, and then we moved, and this is the second year that they've come up. But just goes to show, you know, when you share things with your friends, they just keep on growing.
And that's the nice thing with you just take that in the husk. These are, another name for them is husk tomato, and these are Aunt Molly's is the
Aunt Molly's
variety.
ground cherry, yep.
And you wait till they drop to the ground. That's why they're called ground cherries. And you pick them, and then you take the husk off. And then I make a simple syrup.
Yes, I've had
and
it.
Throw them in there, and
Very good. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming. We got a lot accomplished. We talked about a lot today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. If you've got questions, send them in to yourgarden@gmail.com, and we will see you next time. Good night.